Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my September TBR list. I'm going to be showing you my book haul for September and just kind of giving you a little synopsis from what I know from reading the back cover of the books. So let's get into it. So I have all of my books here. I've turned them around so that you can't see the names of them, and I'm just going to go through them one by one. The first book on my September TBR list is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was my first Taylor Jenkins Reid novel. I know that she has a few, and I really wanted to read this because I figured if I like it, if I like her writing style, that I would be interested in reading more of her books. I think one of the things as a reader that's good is to find authors that you like, because then you will always have books to read. So I heard a lot about this. This was like all over social media, so I knew I wanted to read it. I did read this already because as I was waiting for the other books to come in, I wanted to go ahead and get started. It's basically about a Hollywood icon who starts her career in the 50s, and she is much older when we meet her in the story, and she has retired from her Hollywood career, and basically she's ready to do a tell-all about her life because she's basically like this larger than life character, and no one knows anything about her basically besides the fact that she's had 7 husbands. So she is doing a tell-all and walking you through her life and telling you all the things that she did to get where she got in her career. It's very risque, it's very like shocking. It definitely makes you wonder if Hollywood is truly like this. But at the same time, in some ways, it's inspiring in an immoral way. Like, I don't know, but this was definitely a juicy read. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the plot was so original, and I thought that the way that she told the story was just so original in terms of the format. So yeah, this was my first book that I read, and I loved it. So the second book that I have on my TBR list is Love in Other Words. I've heard so many people say that this is their favorite romance novel, so I had to read it. I'm currently on page 32 of this book. I just started it, so there's not much happening. It's kind of giving you bits and pieces as it slowly puts the story together. But basically it's about 2 people, a girl and a boy, who, you know, had a friendship as children that grew into something more, and you know, at some point they became estranged and they meet again. And so it's really interesting because I think it's gonna set up the main character, whose name is Macy, for a love triangle because she's already engaged, and then she runs into the guy that she previously, you know, had a long-term playing with through their teenage years. So she's gonna have to probably pick between those 2 guys. This is like your standard Hallmark movie type of story, but so many people have said that they love it, so I'm excited to read it. Okay, so I decided to pick a second Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and this was before I actually read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I just figured, like I said, it's so important to find authors that you like. So in the off chance that I fell in love with that book, I wanted to try another one of her books to see if she's somebody that I wanted to continue reading. So yeah, Malibu Rising, heard a lot about this as well. It's about siblings who have a annual end of the year party, and at this particular one, something crazy happens and their lives are changed forever. I don't know that this is a romance or if it's a mystery. I'm not sure what the genre is, but I'm definitely excited to read it, and I think that the storyline sounds interesting, and hopefully the storyline is as original and interesting as The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was. So another book on my September TBR is Book Lovers. It's funny because this book and the book that I just talked about, the main characters love books, so that's so funny to me. This one is enemies to lovers trope type of book. Basically, Nora is, what is she, a literary agent, and her sister convinces her to take a break, to like go to a small town to relax, and she runs into this guy that she's seen a number of times and that she hates, and I guess at some point they're going to fall in love. I actually don't know. I mean, like, definitely not recently. I don't know if like way back when I have, but I can't remember an enemies to lovers trope. Actually, I probably can. What is that book called? The Mortal Instruments. Like, there was definitely a lovers to enemies, Twilight. Like, those were all enemies to lovers tropes type of books. So, but this will be interesting because this is not fantasy. This is just a regular romance novel, and pretty much all of these are romance novels. I figured that since it's September, it's still a little bit warm, I wanted to squeeze in the last of the books that are feel kind of summery. I wanted to do some romance novels before we get deeper into fall, but definitely I'm going to be exploring completely different genres in the next few months of fall and getting into some series as well. So I definitely wanted to fit in some romance novels before doing that. And the last books are a series. They are the Summer I Turned Pretty series, which is on Amazon Prime and which I actually watched first. So the first season, I guess this first book is what's on Amazon Prime. I thought it was super cute, a little corny, but definitely like a fun little vibe. Definitely gave me like YA novel type of vibes. But it was really nice to see a YA novel turned into something that was really good, because I feel like back in the day they really tried to turn a lot of the popular dystopian books into movies, or they tried to create like the Shadowhunters. That was a show. Like, I just felt like some of the things weren't as great. Like, some of the bigger movies were like a divergent, but I think it's so difficult sometimes to capture the essence of a book and turn it into a good movie. So watching this show, I was pleasantly surprised. The actors were so good, and it really made me want to read the series. So I got it. This is definitely an easy read. The pages are not that long. Let me see. The first book has 275 pages. The second book has like 271. The other books are all in the 300s. Like the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo had 385 or something like that. So the other ones are pretty hefty. These ones are a little smaller, and also the font looks a little bit more spaced out and stuff. Yeah, these are definitely YA novels, but I want to read it and see if I like it. So yeah. So these are the books on my September TBR list. I am excited to talk about them in the wrap-up video and hoping that I get through all of them by the end of September, and then we'll be transitioning to a whole new genre. So I'm very excited, and hopefully you guys got some ideas from this and are able to add some books to your own TBR list, and I will see you guys in the next video.